Hello YouTube and welcome back. So today we have Dylan on the YouTube. Obviously Dylan is a head coach at Team Transcend. So today we're going to be having a discussion about how to take full responsibility and accountability when you're working towards your fitness goals. So first of all, Dyl, what is your take on self-respect and accountability?
So, self-respect to me is saying you're going to do something and then doing it, and having confidence in yourself that you've done all the things that you said you're going to do, and being able to prove to other people that you take complete responsibility for all your actions. So, if something goes wrong, you hold yourself accountable, which ties into accountability, and you don't look to blame any others, because then, say, if you're somebody who's in shape, people will instantly look at you and go, oh, he's put all the graft in to get to that position. If you've booked to do a marathon and you have the medal at the end, it's like, oh, you've actually gone through and done it. It's just proving to yourself that you can do the things that you've set out to, and then other people will instantly look at that and go, all right, he actually gets stuff done.
Yeah, so it's just going off what you've said there, it's basically setting yourself a target and taking immediate action on that target, and having the stepping stones in place to actually work towards that target or goal. And a lot of people these days, they're all talkers, and they talk a really good game, and they kind of say, oh yeah, I want to get in shape, or I want to compete, or I want to do a photo shoot, or I want to do a marathon, or they say I'm going to, and then they don't have the correct support system, they don't have the correct mindset, they don't have the correct habits, and they probably don't respect themselves enough, which is why they don't take action.
Yeah.
But action is the first step that we need to take in it. So with accountability, how would you advise someone to hold themselves accountable, or be accountable in general?
So, to hold yourself accountable, I'd say in this day and age, with how busy everybody's life is, it is difficult. I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy. Being held accountable to, say, if you wanted to get in shape, to hit your calories, to get your training sessions done, to do your steps, and get everything done you need to with your own life, say if you've got family, work, etc. It is difficult. So I always find it easier to have other people who can help me. So invest in a coach. If you're somebody who wants to look after the finances, you'd invest in an accountant. If you wanted to get your garden sorted and you've not got the time to, you'd invest in a gardener. So I think if you can offload some tasks to other people to hold you accountable, or to get stuff done for you, and it makes your life easier, then you're also putting yourself first as well. And I think that's probably the first step of both self-respect and accountability, is putting yourself first by having other people help you.
Yeah, and it's about owning your own decisions as well, innit? So in order to hold yourself accountable, you've got to own what you've done right or what you've done wrong. Everybody owns what they've done right, don't they? Yeah, everyone's big me up. But when people do things wrong, they're quick to point the finger, like you was mentioning before, and they don't actually own their own decisions. So I think the first step of accountability for me is being able to not be a victim and not have that victim mindset. Own your own decisions, good or bad, and create a plan to self-reflect upon them decisions on how you can potentially make it better. Yeah, because that to me comes before even probably getting a coach. But some people actually bypass that step, and a coach will actually help. A good coach will help you understand that, help you reflect, help hold you accountable and point out where you've gone wrong, where you've gone right, so you can hold your own self accountable. So the accountability aspect does come from within at certain points, because even if you have a coach, you can still point the finger.
Yeah.
And you can still not take accountability for your actions. We've seen this time and time again with past current clients, maybe at the start of the journeys, where they come to us with a mindset where they want to improve. Yeah, everybody does who joins a coach because they want to get better. But some people fall at the first hurdle where they're actually not able to own what they're doing. And that is probably the major first step of a mindset upgrade, level up, whatever you want to call it, is owning your own mistake and going, I fucked up there.
Yeah.
Because you'll learn from that as well. Like, that might be a setback for that week, but as long as you reflect and own the decision and then, like, create a plan to never make that decision again, then you're going to inevitably at least get it better next time. Yeah?
I think a lot of people as well who don't take that first step to own their own decisions, I always feel like, why would you not want to have complete control over every decision that you make? Like, if you look to blame somebody else straight away, you've just taken all control away from yourself. Like, I always say this to Mia, if we go out and it's raining and I've forgot my jacket, but I've told her, I'll remind me to take my jacket, and she's not, I'm instantly going to go, I should have still brought it anyway because she told me to, and I've just not listened to her. And again, it's my problem. I can't look and say, oh, you should have just made me bring it. And a lot of people do that. They'll go, same, even if they paid or invested into a coach, they'll go, oh, well, he's told me to do that and I've not done it, blah, 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 blah. But if you take complete responsibility for everything, you can never really do much wrong, because you can go, all right, I've done this, and say you've made a mistake and you own up to it, you know you're in the wrong then. You're not anxious. I think a lot of people get anxious and they get stressed because 9 times out of 10, they're lying to themselves and they're pushing blame onto other people, so they never actually experience being wrong or being able to get things done and do what they want to do.
A lot of that is fear of judgment in it, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, some people don't like owning up because they're like, oh, I fucked up.
Yeah, what's this other person going to think about me?
Will they laugh at me? Will they be disappointed? Will they drill me into the floor and tell me I'm a piece of shit?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like the fear of judgment is massive with people who don't own up to stuff. And I think that from my experience of coaching, and you'll probably agree, is that if a client isn't owning up to something, it's normally because they're scared of what I'm about to say, because maybe they don't want to disappoint me. They've disappointed themselves. They're scared of what I'm going to say. They don't really, like, enjoy confrontation. So, like, and not that the coaching and client relationship is confrontational in the slightest. Obviously, like, I always preach, and we always preach to clients that, like, there's no judgment. We empathise in every situation, but equally we hold you accountable to your actions.
Yeah. And like you always say as well, like, a problem shared is a problem halved. So as soon as they take that step and say something, it's like, it's going to be a lot easier to work around this problem because you've got somebody who experiences it all the time.
Exactly. And all you do by fucking up and not saying anything is keep fucking up. Yeah. As simple as that sounds. And it sounds a bit daft, but it's true. Yeah. Because you're not learning anything. You're learning to mask a problem and just go push it to the side instead of actually going, what can we do to make this better? Because like, our job as a coach is to ask more questions as opposed to going, you should be doing this. It's like, well, you should be doing this, but why aren't you? Yeah. How can we overcome this next time? Like, what caused you to go off track? What was the trigger? What can we do better next time? So it's all about, and you can ask, the viewers can ask these questions that I've just said themselves. Yeah. If you do something that makes your progress stall, you can actually ask yourself them questions like, what did I do wrong there? What caused me to go off track? How can I make this better next time? These are just simple questions, but that's all upon self-reflecting. And if you self-reflect and you actually pinpoint where you have gone wrong, then you're going to improve. If you can't find out where you're going wrong, then that's maybe where you do need to source out and delegate and get somebody to help you with that issue, problem, plateau, whatever it is. So, question for you, Dale. Can you remember a time where you didn't own a decision that made you learn to actually speak out?
Yes, so didn't own a decision. Let me think about that. As in, I didn't.
So like you fucked up, and then you didn't own it, or you masked it, and then maybe making it again, and then maybe speaking out. It made you learn.
There's been a couple. There've been several.
Same. Fucking hell, we all have.
One of the biggest ones that happened recently was, well, there's two, but one of them was me training. So one of the things I kept on doing was I was trying to fit too much into my week, and I had a lot on with PTs and coaching, and I was trying to train too much than what I probably should have, and I didn't realise that was eating away at how much time I could put into other areas of work and stuff like that. And even just travelling to the gym was too much time. And I didn't think it was that much at the time. I thought, oh, I can just carry on and crack on and do 13, 14 hour days working and stuff. But it gets to the point where I was just completely burnt out on the weekend. And if anything, it just ate into like personal time with my girlfriend, with my family, and then time on my own just wasn't enjoyable because I felt like I wasn't doing enough. And then I just kept on letting it happen, and then I actually spoke to you, I spoke to Ali, who's another guy who I have a call with on a Friday morning, legend, and it was kind of just like, look, if you actually look at your weeks, you've not progressed, you just need to take a step back and do less, and then you'll be able to progress more. And that was just a big realisation where I knew that's what I needed to do, but I just needed somebody else to kind of go through it with me. And it took that self-reflection to kind of be like, oh yeah, I've actually not progressed for the last 4 weeks. What's the point in what I've been doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest ones that's hit me recently, because now I actually go to a training session and I enjoy it. I'm not getting stressed that I'm not going to be able to fit all my other jobs in that day.
So, and that's just a bit of a personal story of Dylan's on how he's kind of failed for 4 weeks. And so I say failed, that's okay. It's not that he's a failure, it's that he failed that week. And upon somebody else pointing this out to him, then he's learned from that, and now he's started progressing. And that's just a simple story, but we'll all have these stories that we can actually reflect back on and go, do you know what? I could have done that better. And that's about the learning process. Yeah?
100%.
So with one last point we'll go into is a bit about that probably pulls people off track. So I think a main one of these is negative self-talk, where people speak to themselves negatively when they do fail. And we get this a lot, don't we? Where somebody like absolutely blows the week out because they've not hit the steps one day. And like, say if your step target's 10,000 a day and you don't hit it one day, it's okay, you can make it up the next day, there's no issue. But with some people who have that kind of like them perfectionist tendencies, they procrastinate about not hitting every single minute target. And if you're one of these people, remember that it's mainly over 7 days that you want to progress. And it doesn't mean that you need to hit every single target every single day. We always preach about being 80 to 90% consistent 100% of the time. So with just that, if you're only 80% one day, but you're 100% the next, that levels out anyway. So we want to just think about the negative self-talk, and how that links to that point is that people negatively dig themselves into a hole, where you've been bad for this in the past, and so have I, in my younger days, where we fuck up and we go, I'm a failure, I'm this, I'm that, I'm an idiot, I'm thick, I'm stupid, I'm weak, I'm skinny, I'm fat, whatever it is. And that negative self-talk will only pull you even further down. I always say this one thing, I'll let you speak in a minute. I only say this one thing, that the best step forwards, or the best next step forwards, is your next step. And that needs to be a positive step. So if you make that negative self-talk, more than likely the next step forward is going to be negative. If you kind of go reflect and go, yeah, I fucked up, but it's all right, how do I make this right? That's a positive self-talk to positively move forwards. So I think that's a big one.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when you said taking that step forwards in a positive way, and then you see a positive result at the end of it because you feel better and you think, do you know what, I've actually hit everything across this week and I've not put too much pressure on myself. It gives you more motivation going into the next week as well. Whereas if you've got a negative outlook on it, you get to the end of the week, which I've done timelessly, you get to the end of the week and you're like, fucking hell, I've not done anything that I needed to this week, when in reality you've probably done a lot. So it's definitely better to have a positive outlook on things, even when you're training. I've said this like on videos in our group for the clients that we coach. Like, if, say for instance, I was doing a run, or if I was doing a weight session and halfway through I wasn't enjoying it and I was struggling, sometimes it's dead easy to be like, oh, this is it, you've got to embrace this struggle, things are fucking hard, I'm going to make it, and you make it even harder in your head because you're thinking about how hard it's got to be to get through this challenge. Whereas if you go, oh, do you know what, I've only got 5k left, that's a part run, or do you know what, I've only got a couple of reps left, and then I'm done, and you try and reframe things in a positive way, it always ends up being easier.
Reframing is massive. Like, I always say to myself that, like, if anyone can do it, I can do it. Like when I've got a tough day, like I'm prepping at the minute, there's more negative days in my life at the minute than there's positive, just because I'm 3 weeks out from a show. But like whenever I'm having a down day, or I won't even say a down day, but like I feel shit and I feel fatigued or whatever, I kind of always said to myself, well, if anyone can do it, Nathan, you can fucking do it. Because that's kind of like a self-belief and a self-respect that like, well, you're man enough, you're big enough to actually do what you set out to do. And I think reframing and that kind of positive self-talk is massive. And the last thing before we recap, because I've just thought of it and it's massively important, that's why I want to touch on it, is fear of failure. And I think that's a big one for a lot of people, because they go through an identity change. They start respecting the self more. They've never respected the self. They start being held accountable. They've never been held accountable. And that's out the comfort zone. So then what we'll call this person Bill, old Bill tries to pull new Bill back to old Bill. I always use that kind of analogy. Maybe it's not an analogy, but you know what I mean, that phrase. Because that's like new Bill's fear of failure going, you're not meant to be this. This ain't you. You're going to fail. Like, you've tried this before, but it's not worked. It's working now, but it's not going to work long term. And that's the fear of failure, where somebody pulls themselves back to their old self. That's the time you've got to fucking dig in.
Yeah, they almost feel like they don't deserve the success at the end.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And that's that, like, for anyone listening to this who you might relate to that, that is the time you've got to dig in.
Yeah.
That is the time you have got to just go, no, it's working, it's going to work. Reframe your mindset, calm yourself down, think more logically, and just keep pushing through. Yeah. So, all in all, self-respect and accountability, there's a lot of different avenues that we've just kind of gone through there. But the main thing I want somebody to take from this is that the way you talk to yourself is very important. You've got to respect yourself, and you've got to potentially go through an identity change in order to respect yourself if you don't at the moment. And the main ways of doing that is by setting one small goal and taking action upon that goal immediately. Have you got anything else to add?
Yeah, and just going through difficult challenges, but in a positive way. Like, it's so easy to go on Instagram and TikTok and see people who love the idea of doing hard things, and they talk about the outcomes that you'll see on the other side of it with quotes and inspirational videos and stuff like that. But 90% of those people probably have never done anything that hard before. And like, when you actually push your own self through something that's uncomfortable, that's when you'll start to go, oh shit, I can actually gain a lot from this personally and mentally. So just do something that you don't really want to do that's going to better you, and start to think more positively about it.
So thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you for watching. I hope you've taken something from this. If you have, just drop it in the comments below. And if you want to find us on Instagram, there's Nathan_Transcend and Dylan_Transcend. And we're both part of Team Transcend, which is Transcend Physique. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you for listening.